Hello friends, welcome to LeggLife. My name is Adam, and I can honestly say, today's video is one that has been years in the making. Sherri and I have been talking about this for so long, but today we are finally going to pull the trigger because today we are launching our LeggLife Patreon. Now in this video, I'm going to explain everything about this. I'm going to tell you what Patreon is. I'm going to tell you why we made the decision to do this. I'm going to share a little bit of our heart behind this so that you can kind of hear just right from me about why we're doing this. I'm also going to tell you some of the concerns that we've had about this, some of the mental hurdles that we had to get over even in order to do this. But right from the beginning, I do want to say this is a video I wish I was making with Sherri. This is one of those videos that it would feel better if it was both of us because Patreon and your guys' support of that really does go to support both of us and what we're doing here. However, unfortunately, because of her health stuff, she just can't be in this video. The first thing I actually want you to hear, even before I jump into the what is Patreon, even before I jump into kind of explaining the nuts and bolts of this, is I want you to hear just directly from me about this. See, we know that for 5 years on YouTube, you, our LeggLife community, have supported us in ways that go so far beyond anything we could have imagined. And we do not for 1 second take your support for granted. We absolutely have felt loved, we have felt supported, we have felt encouraged by you. And Patreon for us is just another way to provide an avenue for you guys to support us. You know, we've actually been receiving messages from you guys about Patreon for years. In fact, Sherri and I said, this was a long time ago, that we were gonna start a Patreon account at 2,000 subscribers. And then that came and we're like, nah, it just doesn't feel right. And then we said 5,000 and it didn't feel right. And then we said 10,000 and it didn't feel right. And then we said 15,000 and it started to feel right. And today it feels right. I can genuinely say that this is a decision that both Sherri and I feel now is the right time to make this. And so we are so thankful for the way you've supported us. We're so thankful for the way you've encouraged us. We're so thankful for the way that you have let us know just how loved and a part of your family and a part of your life we are. And we know that that is not common on YouTube. And so from the absolute bottom of our hearts, thank you for the way that you all have supported us. Thank you for the way that you will continue to support us in lots of other ways, even outside of Patreon. But today, let's talk about Patreon. So what the heck even is this? Some of you guys may never have heard of this website before. See, Patreon exists basically to provide a place for artists or creatives. Think of people who do YouTube videos, or maybe photographers or writers or musicians or painters, to be supported by the people who love the work that they're creating. That's been one of the hard things for us about YouTube, is that there's really only a couple of ways for our audience to support us, right? So many of you guys have said, Adam and Sherri, we watch all of the ads because we know that that goes to help you. And thank you guys so much for that. You guys have supported our Etsy shops. You guys have given us super chats when we've done live streams. But because of the platform we're on, there's really not a lot of other ways for you guys to support us. And we know that there's a lot of you out there who would love to do that. So the way Patreon works is basically you create a Patreon page, which we have done, and then you create different tiers, right? There's tiers that would be a certain dollar amount per month. And then as they go up, there's more in those tiers. There's kind of rewards or perks. If you've ever backed a project on Kickstarter, it's kind of a similar approach to that. Now, before I go any further, I want to say something that is really, really important. Everything that we currently do on LeggLife, everything that you guys have been enjoying and watching and the content that you've been able to consume for free for years, none of that is going to change. The 4 YouTube videos a week, the 4 podcasts a month, all of the Instagram posts, all of the Instagram lives, all of the Facebook posts, all of that kind of stuff that we do, we're not going to stop doing any of that. And this was really a big deal for Sherri and I. In fact, this was one of the reasons that we put it off for so long, is that one of our values in this was that we didn't want a single person to feel like what we did was create a paywall between us and you, our community. And so everything that we have ever done is still going to be free. We're not cutting back to 2 videos a week on YouTube and then you have to pay to see more. None of that stuff is happening. None of that stuff is happening. Everything that we do, everything that we have created, that you guys have always been enjoying, we're still going to continue to do, and it's still going to be available to you, whether you are a patron, whether you support us on Patreon or not. I felt that was really important to say, because just honestly, I've seen this done really well, but I've also seen this done really poorly. And it's important to us in this that you hear that our heart is not to create some kind of a paywall or division between you and between us. It's simply to give those of you who want a way to support the kind of stuff we're doing, to support the kind of content that we're making, a way to do that honestly just doesn't exist. So what we've done is we've created a Patreon account, and I'm going to link it down below in our video. In fact, in all future videos, you're going to be able to find that right down below. And when you go over there, you will see that there are 3 tiers to our account. And what I want to do is actually kind of walk you through each of those 3, let you know what you will get, the kind of rewards and perks and benefits you'll get if you join any one of those. And I want to start by letting you know the vision statement, kind of the mission of LeggLife. This isn't just LeggLife, the YouTube channel. This is what Sherri and I do on Instagram. This is our podcast. This is all of the stuff that we do. This is the mission that drives us. And that's to create content that does 3 things. It informs, it inspires, and it spreads kindness. So in keeping with that theme, we've actually labeled our 3 tiers over on Patreon: inform, inspire, and spread kindness. First, let's start with the inform tier. The inform tier is $5 per month. And here's what you get for that. You get access to our Patreon exclusive content. Now, over on Patreon, there is a wall. Think of like Facebook or other social media, places that we can post photos, we can post videos, we can post polls, we can interact with you guys. But all of that stuff is exclusive to people who join our Patreon. So for $5 per month, you get access to all of that stuff. And then twice a year, we're also going to do a Patreon exclusive live stream that is just for people who support us over there. Now, obviously, it will probably be a smaller crowd than what joins us on most of our normal live streams. So you'll have places to ask us questions, to interact with us in ways that honestly we just can't do with bigger crowds. And then also on that tier, we just want to say thank you. Like, thank you so much that you would support us kind of above and beyond. Not only would you watch our videos, not only would you watch our ads, not only would you be an amazing part of the LeggLife community, but starting with that tier, you would actually contribute to us monthly to enable us to create the kind of content that we do. And then we're going to step up to the Inspire tier. Now, Inspire is $10 per month. And Inspire gets all of the things that exist in the Inform tier, as well as a couple other things. First, you're going to get 1 monthly exclusive podcast. So we're going to record 1 podcast that is just for people in this tier and above. Now, that topic could range from a lot of different things. In fact, we're going to be asking you, what are the things you'd actually like to hear your exclusive podcast touch on? And you're also going to be getting a quarterly postcard right from Sherri and I. Now, this is going to be from our travels or here from our home in Alaska. If we are out and about somewhere, if we're at Disney or we're traveling somewhere, we're going to be picking up postcards and sending them to our patrons who support us over there. And we're actually really excited to do that. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Sherri and I have been talking about this for years. We've been talking about starting one of these for years. And this idea about postcards to patrons has been one of the things that we always knew we wanted to do. And what's been so funny is that we've seen postcards over the years as we've traveled and been like, dang it, I wish we had patrons set up because this postcard would be perfect. Well, now we're going to have an opportunity to do that. The next thing you're going to get is a Patreon exclusive LeggLife sticker. Now, this sticker is going to be mailed to you in your 2nd month of membership. And then every single year, we will mail you a new sticker as well. We're going to kind of create these annual stickers just for people who support us at this level and above. Now, these stickers are going to have lots of different themes. They're all going to be fun. They're going to be the kind of thing that we want you to use. Like, here's my Nalgene water bottle. And I've got Summers in Alaska sticker. I've got Expedition Barbecue, RZ roll, right? I got Dole Whip, because who doesn't love a Dole Whip? And so our hope is that like the stickers that you get can go on stuff. You can use them. These aren't just stickers that you can just like toss in a drawer and not use. So we want to create fun things that you guys actually like. And then the next perk of this tier is that we're actually going to ask you for feedback. We want you to be involved as we plan upcoming trips and vacations. So here's what that could look like. Maybe Sherri and I are going to Walt Disney World, and we know that we're going to have a day at Disney Springs. We want to actually ask you guys, what are the things that you want to see us do? What is the food that you want to see us eat? Is there something new that you want to see us try? Like, help us decide the kind of things that we're going to do. And we think that that's just going to be such a fun interaction as a community as we get to just interact over that kind of stuff. Honestly, I'm a little bit nervous because I know some of you guys love to watch me like eat gross things or hot things or that sort of thing. So I'm hoping that that's not the direction that this turns, but I also fully know that it very well may be. But whatever happens over there, we just want to invite you guys into our trip planning process and help you have a voice into the kind of things that we do, we see, we eat, all of that fun stuff. And then the top tier over on Patreon is called Spread Kindness. And this tier is $25 per month. And here are the things that are included with that. The first thing, and I just think this is so important, you guys, $5 of your $25 every month is going right into our kindness fund. Now, if you don't know what our kindness fund is, this is so communicates the heart of our LeggLife community. Because in 2020, one of the things that we did is we had a special Etsy launch to pay off some medical bills for Sherri's sister. There was just like a really hard situation and we felt like we wanted to step in. And so we created this special Etsy launch and you guys responded in such a huge way. And then we donated all of the money that was raised to Sherri's sister to pay off all of her medical bills. And not only did we get to pay all of those off, there was actually money left over. And so we're like, well, what do we do with this? And so we knew that it was both our heart and your heart to continue to spread joy in the world and kindness in the world and to meet needs and to bless people. And so we said, what if we took that money and not just kept it for ourselves, but created a kindness fund? That through the course of the year, we can look for ways to bless people. We can look for ways to bring smiles into the world. And I think we all know that right now, the world really needs more of that. And so at this tier, $5 of your $25 every month is going right back into the kindness fund to help there always be resources available to do things that do exactly that. Spread kindness. But then we also want to do some kindness fund collaboration with this group. So if we have money in the fund, how do we do that? What do we spend it on? What are the things that we could do that might be kind of fun to brainstorm together? How can we use those funds to bring the most amount of kindness, the most amount of joy, the most amount of smiles into the world? And so we want to collaborate with this group to figure that kind of stuff out. The next thing in the Spread Kindness tier has to do with Etsy. Now we know you guys support our Etsy shops like crazy. Sherri's shop, my Cash Creek Beard Oil shop, you guys always show up in ways that blow us away. And so what we're gonna do for people at this tier is we're gonna give you a 10% discount code. Now, I've seen what some of y'all spend at Sherri's shop. Holy cow. This discount code adds up quickly. So this is available again. The discount code you can use at Sherri's shop as well as Cash Creek Beard Oil. It's just something we wanted to include to say thank you for the way that you guys have supported our shops. And speaking of Etsy, we're actually including another perk at this level. Now this is something that Sherri really hasn't done a lot in the past. Now as Sherri's thinking about future Etsy launches, as she's planning designs or thinking what could a theme be or what kind of products or items do I even want to carry, we're gonna do like Etsy first looks just with this group. Sherri will also be able to share like real-time updates with you guys, posting photos of progress that most times people never get to see. So it's a fun way for us to invite you guys into our Etsy process, give you a voice into that, let you help to decide the kind of stuff that's going out in our shops. And then the last thing in this tier is an annual Zoom call with us and just the people who are here in the Spread Kindness tier. Now the nice thing about a Zoom call is that when we do a live stream on YouTube or Facebook or other platforms, it really is still us talking to you. Zoom gives us the opportunity for all of us to talk together. And that's really our goal. And that's one of the things that we love so much when we get to do meet and greets, when we travel around the country, is we love getting to hear your voice. We love getting to see your face. We love getting to meet the people behind the avatar comments that we see. And so our Zoom call for the people here in this tier are going to allow us to do that. You guys are going to get to ask us questions. We're going to get to interact in a way that frankly, we just aren't able to on other live streams. Now with all of these tiers, the way that it works is that if you subscribe to the first tier, which is Inform, $5 a month, you get the things in that tier. But then if you subscribe to the Inspire tier, $10 a month, you get everything in that tier plus everything in the tier before it. And then if you subscribe to the Spread Kindness at $25 a month, you get everything in all three tiers. So that is our Patreon. So now let's answer a few questions. And the first question I want to start with is why Patreon? You know, there are different platforms that you can do this. In fact, you can do this over on YouTube through something called YouTube Communities. And 6 months ago, that's exactly what I thought we were going to do. But something unique happened during the quarantine and pandemic of 2020. And that's that our LeggLife community really started to change. See, prior to quarantine, pretty much everybody who was connected to us anywhere on Instagram or Facebook connected to us through the wide funnel of YouTube. So everybody knew us primarily as YouTubers. But we started to get comments last year as we were going live on Instagram more, as we were kind of connecting to people in other places. People would say, oh, I didn't know you were on YouTube. I thought you were just somebody who went live on Instagram. And that sort of was like eye-opening to us, that our community was growing in such a way that we were no longer exclusively YouTubers, that LeggLife reached beyond that. And so now there's a lot of people who primarily would say, I'm connected to Adam and Sherri via Instagram. And the place that they really touch my life, the place that they really inform, inspire, or spread kindness in my life is through Instagram. But now there's people who say that about the podcast. And so really what we've seen over the last year is our primary area of influence, which almost used to be exclusively YouTube, has now changed. And so it didn't make sense for us to set this up over on YouTube anymore, just with the way that our community and our audience has changed. So really, Patreon is a way for you to support Sherri and I in all of the things that we do. If our LeggLife channel and the content we create has touched you, has inspired you, has helped inform vacations or decisions or things in your life, or if it has helped you spread kindness, or if it has brought you joy as we have spread kindness, or maybe the podcast has just been a great piece of entertainment for you, or maybe Instagram Lives were one of those things that they gave you a sense of community during 2020 when honestly, man, most of us just didn't have it. This is a way for you to support that. This is a way for you to help those things continue to go on. Why Patreon? Because we think all that other stuff matters. We think that what we're doing on YouTube really is actually having impact on people's life. We think that the live streams have really been beneficial to people. We think that people are really enjoying the podcast, and we love that so much. But Patreon helps those things be able to continue. The next question you may have is Patreon like a legit platform for some of you guys who might not be hearing about it or just hearing about it for the first time? And I would say yes, absolutely. Sherri and I have supported creators over on Patreon for a long time. It's a platform that we know, it's a platform that we trust. And so if it wasn't something that we believed in and that we trusted, we never would tie ourselves to that. So we would say it is completely a trustworthy platform. Now I want to talk a little bit about some of my hesitations with doing this. You know, as I mentioned earlier, this was kind of a can that we kicked down the road a lot. At 2000, we said we were going to do it, and then 5, and then 10, and then 15, and finally we're like, we really feel like the time is now. And we feel like the time is now for a couple of reasons. Number one, the number of you guys who are asking us about this is higher than it's ever been. We had comments even today asking us, do you guys have a Patreon? We would really love to support you. We would love to be able to help the kind of stuff you're doing continue. We see what you're doing having impact, and we want to help that stuff continue. And so for us, the time just really felt right now. It never felt right before. But the other thing for me, and this was probably the biggest hurdle, and it was honestly just a mental thing that I had to get over. And that has to do with feeling like the things you're creating are worth people supporting. You know, I was talking to another friend of mine who makes YouTube videos just a few nights ago. And as we were talking, one of the things we talked about is how when I think of my friends who are on YouTube, when I think of like Justin and Lacey over at RZ Roll, or I think of any of our friends who are just making great content, I'm like, you know what? I want them to have a Patreon because I want to support them because I believe in what they're doing. I find value in the content they're creating, and I want to encourage them to keep doing that. And I could say that about all of our friends. Like, I want all of our friends to have Patreons because I want to support them. But then when I say, yeah, but what about us? I can make like a million excuses. And I can be like, yeah, but no, it's okay. We don't need, right? And it gets awkward when something like this is about us instead of others. And so finally I just realized that's my issue and I needed to get over it. And so honestly, hitting go live or publish on Patreon earlier tonight was a really big deal for me because that was me getting over a mental hurdle that I have had here on YouTube like for years. Believing that the content that we are creating is actually touching people's life, is actually providing value, is actually helpful, is actually impacting you guys right where you are. Now, I know that for years you guys have said that that's true. You've told us that's true. But I think a lot of you will understand when I say that sometimes it's harder for us to believe that about ourselves than it is even for others. So the decision to go live for now is simply saying that, you know what? We're starting to believe that for ourselves. So friends, that's it. LeggLife is officially on Patreon. And here's what I want you to know. Whether you choose to support us over there, or you choose to watch our videos and comment, or you choose to be a part of our community on Instagram, or you choose to be a part of our community on Facebook, I want you to know that we absolutely love you and we are so thankful that you are a part of our journey and a part of our community. Patreon is simply a place for those of you who want to go above and beyond in supporting Sherri and I, in supporting the kind of stuff that we're doing and the kind of stuff we're creating. It is a place for you to do that previously didn't exist. You know, the reality is that we are creating more content right now than we ever have in 5 years on YouTube. Did you know that in the month of January alone, between just YouTube and the podcast, I'm not even going to include Instagram Live because this number would be crazy if we talked about Instagram Live. But just between YouTube and the podcast, in 1 month, we created 10 hours of edited, finished, and published content. That's 10 hours of stuff that we put out for you to connect with. And I love the fact that you guys got to connect with that stuff in your homes, with your families, in your cars, on your walks, as you were running errands, wherever you listen to our podcasts or wherever you watch our videos, we were able to join you as you did that stuff. But the reality is, that's a lot of stuff. 10 hours in 1 month is a lot. And so we know that a lot of you were hoping that we would create something like this. And so we did. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. This, to us, the fact that you guys would have asked us so many times if we would ever start one of these, and some of you have been, I'm going to use the word, absolutely pestering us for years, saying, when are you going to start this? When are you going to start this? When are you going to start this? And here's what I want you to know. I know that your constant asking of us was simply because you saw value in the stuff we were creating. You saw something that you wanted to support, or you saw people that you wanted to support. And so thank you. That has been such an encouragement to us, and it has helped Sherri and I get over the hurdle that we are people who are worth having support, that we are people who are creating stuff that is worth supporting. Your encouragement of us, your constant asking of us to do this has helped us get over that mental hurdle. Thank you. Friends, we love you. Here's what I want you to hear in this video, okay? I'm gonna wrap it up. This is what I should have done. This could have been a 30-second video. Here's what I want you to hear. Here's my heart in this. Here's Sherri's heart in this. Everything that we have done on YouTube, we're still gonna keep doing. Everything we've done on the podcast, we're still gonna keep doing. You're gonna be able to connect with that stuff all for free still. We're not changing the amount of stuff we create. We're not changing the amount of times we post. We're not changing any of that kind of stuff. We're simply creating a second platform, another place for those of you who want to support us in that way. That now exists. And what does that do? That enables Sherri and I to continue creating the kind of stuff that we create. That enables Sherri and I to have the resources we need to continue to inform and inspire and spread kindness in the world through this LeggLife platform that has grown so far beyond what we could have imagined. And so thank you. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate it more than you could ever possibly know. Sherri and I love you so very much. Again, link to Patreon down below. If you have questions about this, please don't hesitate to ask those in the comments, and we will see you on the next LeggLife video.